The best camera of 2026, I argue, is whatever you can get your hands on in terms of availability and affordability. And perhaps the best camera of 2026 is whatever camera you already have. As of right now, it seems like the current trend that I'm seeing is on compact cameras. And I would make the argument that for most people, the most compact and portable camera is going to be their smartphone. Um, I'm definitely a proponent of dedicated cameras for sure, but I think for a lot of people, just maybe getting started out, getting into the hobby, um, I think that their smartphone is going to be the best point of entry. That's certainly the place where I started. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, this is a Android phone. At the time, my first smartphone was a happened to be an Apple, but yeah, I mean that was the first uh, thing that I owned that I was given that I had, available to me, and it was great because it was it's very pocketable. It was always with me, and so I just started taking pictures with it, and you know really enjoying that experience. I mean, prior to that, I had my mom's. I guess that would have been a Digicam, a Canon, and it seemed like it was pretty nice, but I didn't own it, and so to me, it just didn't feel the same. It's different when I'm borrowing or using someone else's thing versus again when it was that smartphone that was given to me and I had it and I could claim ownership and be like this is mine. Um, and yeah, so um, even though I had that sort of that small little experience and really I was just lending the camera for a photography class that I had. Um, so yeah, it was really my first camera that I would say was my smartphone. And then it was a couple of years after that. I mean, really, my first dedicated camera was let's see here this Canon Rebel T4i. And even at the time, I mean, this was probably nothing crazy, nothing fancy. I bought it used. That's what I could afford. And it was pretty similar to, again, what I had been borrowing. I had been doing some work for a church at the time, um, um, a visual media producer role, and was doing lots of digital graphics and photography for events. And so this was very similar to the camera that I was, again, Lent was using. And so, I mean, it made sense for me to buy something that was going to be similar to what, I was already accustomed and used to. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, I picked this up and again, just I already had something that I was, um, borrowing and using, and perhaps I could have like lent that further and brought that home, but like I really wanted something that was mine, something that I could have ownership over, and with that, like that really just took my photography to the next level. I would say, just being like, this is mine. I've always, not always have it with me because it's not portable necessarily, certainly not to the same degree. But because I own it, I can, don't have to worry about ever, giving it back. I always have it as my own, and so I can really take my time with it and get to know it as though it was my own because it is. And so, yeah, I just this has kind of been something that I have often, come back to. even still, even though again, like it's still like it seems like a very, to my knowledge, it's a pretty standard, pretty basic. It's not full frame, um, but it gets the job done. Yeah. So I mean, I've got the sort of the kit 18 to 55 millimeter on here. At one point, I had like, what was it, maybe like a 75 to 300, and that was pretty nice. But even that was just, something I borrowed from my sister. Um, and it was like a Tamron, so it wasn't even like a really a nice lens. But again, that's what I could obtain. That's what I could afford. Um, and yeah, I mean, I like to think that I got some pretty. I've taken some pretty nice pictures with this camera for what it is. Um, and then after sometime after that, I got interested in film, in instant film, and my first film camera was then a new. I'm not going to remember the the terminology for it, but it is one of the new Polaroid cameras. I think at that time they already had one that had lots of pairing to your phone digital features, and I didn't want anything like that. I just wanted the real analog experience, so I got the earlier, very basic. Um, and so I got to see the some of the magic of instant film, but I really did not. I was not happy with that camera. It was not a great introduction, in my opinion. Just between where Polaroid film, I guess, was and kind of still is in terms of the chemistry, and then just the softness of the lens was just creating these really really soft, muddy, I would say, looking photos that I was just really not impressed and happy with. So it was a good introduction, but it was not a good, um, yeah, not a good landing place. I'm not sure exactly what I do with it, but I don't have it anymore. Wasn't really interested for me to hold on to it. But what I do still have is the instant camera that I got after that, and that was, yes, which I've done a video on, is the Fujifilm Instax 500 AF. This big old honker doinker of a camera, takes the wide format, and this was really something of a unicorn. Just um, at least in terms of Fujifilm and specifically their Instax. That could be a whole thing, a whole video. People have talked about it. I mean, just the quality of the cameras that Fuji Instax has been putting out, especially for the wide format, is just nothing really compared to this. I think they really went all out with this one. Um, so it's, out of the gate, and then after that, just kind of settled for really, um, yeah, just pretty cheap point and shoot cameras. I mean, they've got like they're really kind of, again, fancier digital ones, but again, that's not really a great analog camera in my experience. Yeah, it's kind of a whole other thing where you have, the screen on it, albeit it seems like not really particularly great LCD screen. But yeah, I got this, and yeah, wasn't the cheapest even at the time that I got it. Who this would have been? Yeah, I think this would have been like maybe like 2020 that I got this for Christmas, was gifted to me, and just really really love this camera. I mean, is kind of bulky as it is, like in terms of its profile. I feel like it's narrow enough that it can be easily put into a camera bag, at least compared to, again, the Instax 400. I think really just kind of, even when you, yeah, it juts out a bit more. Um, and I mean, people have made comparisons between, tons of comparisons between this and the 400, and maybe um, it could be argued that the quality um, is maybe not so different, at least in terms of sharpness. Um, but I guess at least my experience, I did buy the 400 after this, when this did eventually die. That's why I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to anyone. Again, it's probably even more hard to get your hands on. But there's just there's no. It seems like there's really no way to, unless someone maybe like mods it. There's no way to really. The knowledge just doesn't seem there to be able to repair and fix it if anything goes wrong. Unfortunately. So yeah, it's, I tried the 400 and was just underwhelmed. It was nice that there was like the little, attachment you could put on there to get close up photos. Um, and I think maybe at certain ranges, I think um, it was based on like those like ranges. It wasn't like this that had the autofocus. And for me, that was just kind of the big for business, thing about this is just like autofocus. They have not done autofocus since this. It's just crazy. I know the technology's got to be there. Other like smaller, less resource companies have managed autofocus. Fujifilm, you can do an Instax autofocus camera. Um, Again, I digress, but yeah, I um, uh, this was really my love of instant film and just film really kind of came out of this, again with my disappointment with the Polaroid camera, and then trying to make it up with the Instax 400 and just being kind of disappointed. But it even this like really kind of um, in its own way, again, unfortunately, created a bit of made me a bit of a fan of Fujifilm, at least, the Fujifilm of the past, even if I've been um, disgruntled and, disappointed with the uh, Fujifilm as of late. I just really, really love this camera. Um, and I guess my love of Fuji, again, at least old Fuji, was then cemented when again I got the 400 was disappointed, and I was like, all right, well maybe let's kind of change gears, and rather than doing instant film, let's go ahead and give traditional roll film a try. I had never experienced that except for maybe uh, much earlier back in the day with disposable cameras. Um, that was so long ago. I didn't even really remember what that experience was like, and I guess I feel like there's a different experience. Um, Maybe not really, but I guess to me it seemed like a different experience with a disposable versus something non-disposable. You can like have a single camera and put multiple rolls through. So, anyways, after this and the 400, I picked up. I picked up this Fujifilm. Uh, how you pronounce this? Current height date. Um, and yeah, someone had done a video um, recommending this, and I'm really glad that they did because again, like I super love this point and shoot camera. Um, there's not really, I mean, I'm not going to ramble on about it. I mean, by all accounts, it's the only point and shoot, um, really that I've experienced other than my Olympus, and I'm not going to get into that. That could be a whole other video. Um, But other than that, yeah, I mean, this has been my experience with a point and shoot camera, so I can't really compare it to anything else. Um, but just, speaking on this, like, it's just, I love, that the lens is, you know, hidden here. Um, and, of course, it rolls the film for you. Like, it's all very automatic. Um, and has autofocus. Like, um, I feel like it takes sharp enough images, and yeah, I just had a really great experience getting into traditional film with this camera. And so I guess I do have a bit of a, if you've made it this far, I do have a point, and I'm getting somewhere here. Is that from this? I mean, this is a pretty, um, I mean, it's a small. I mean, I know they're smaller and more compact cameras, but um, to me, this is a pretty small, pretty compact camera. And so going from, uh, you know, this to this was a big change, or I guess even, and I did sort of skip a step here after I'd gotten, into film with instant film, with Instax, and again, still riding the Fuji train. I got this Fujifilm uh, X-T3, and gave my hand into Fuji's, digital cameras, and had some good times with it. It's a nice camera, but I mean, gosh, I was overall uh, disappointed, let down by it. Um, just in terms of what I expected and what people were sharing with me, this was just not the slim, lightweight camera that I feel like people made it out to be. Maybe it is, slimmer and lighter, than maybe other non-mirrorless cameras. Um, I mean, definitely, it's somewhat slimmer. I mean, it's not like lengthwise. I mean, it's about the same. Um, and of course, once you get the lens on there, if I had a smaller lens, I mean, this would be more um, a smaller profile. But I mean, to me, like this is just lightweight. No way. Like this is like, I mean, comparable, but something about the way that it's plastic and just the way that it's distributed. To me, this almost feels lighter than this does. Like this just feels like a freaking like brick. Um, just not what I was expecting, not what I was like hoping for. Yeah, the pictures are nice. And got to do all the fun film simulation stuff. Um, but I mean, of the cameras that I have just showed you, I guess again of the ones I can still shoot, like I would say at this point, like after my time with it, I use this the least because I don't find it, even the fact that it has a digital viewfinder. I just don't enjoy that experience as much um as just the optical one, like looking through the lens. Um yeah, I mean, I don't want to ramble on too much about it, but I guess I was really um just, yeah, pretty, this was not really what I wanted. I was pretty let down. Of course, at the time I was looking at their other lineup and was kind of going back and forth, and like, because again, people have all their thoughts and their opinions, and people are like, oh, I love the dials and all the, the physical dials, and you know and that sort of a talk. And so I was like, oh yeah, let's, because this has like, you can change out the lenses. It has a lot going for it, in comparison to um, like what is it? Fuji's like was it their 100 series of cameras that has a fixed lens. And even maybe this has more going forth in its like it's what is it, like XE line potentially, even though that you can change out those lenses. But anyways, this is what I ultimately like went with, and hindsight. Again, I had some good times with it. Took some good photos with it, but just not for me. What I was really, or even still, what I really want to shoot with. Um, and so, and then again, yeah, I mean, comparison, taking the two uh Fuji's. Um, I mean, this one is just so much later, and people can knock plastic, but I mean, it's later, and I'll take, honestly, I'll take plastic, over whatever metal build if it makes it lighter. That's just my take. That's my opinion. Um, but yeah, I mean, so going from there. I had this um, pretty compact point and shoot film camera, and I was like, you know what? I kind of like the point and shoot experience. I like the compact thing, and so this was 2023 when I was thinking about compact cameras. It's funny that it's really seems to be catching on now, and that's what I seem to be constantly be seeing articles about. But let me pull that out. I thought I already had it. I have here my Canon PowerShot G16 that I got in, again, 2023. And this was not my first choice. Again, the factors I mentioned were what you can afford, and what's available, and that's kind of all constantly shifting and changing based upon the market. And I don't know where it's like now, but at the time, I was really wanted to get my hands on one of those Fuji X, or sorry, yeah, the Fuji um, X100 cameras, and either the newest one just like wasn't available or just wasn't in stock, and maybe a similar situation. I don't know. It just seems like the situation was like not good with their stock and keeping up demand. A real shame. I don't know what Fuji was doing. I don't even know what they're still doing. They make some interesting decisions. I mean, granted, I guess at the time that would have been, um, I mean, that would have been a little bit later in sort of the pandemic times, and production issues, were kind of abound. Um, but yeah, a frustration regardless. And so I was looking at, I think, a comparable um, camera um, that was very similar to this one. I can't remember what it was called, um, but yeah, it just kind of, in terms, again, what was available, with the quality and the price. I just, I didn't pull the trigger on that one, and I don't know how I came across this. Again, there might have been um, some videos, or just perusing and came across it, did some more research. But yeah, I mean, let me turn it on. You see the lens um, pop out. Did a short little video on this one talking about turning off the back of the screen when you're um, shooting with it. And yeah, I mean, again, comparing this um, to that roll film. I mean, it's even. I mean, gosh, yeah. I mean, this is smaller. I don't think I've ever compared these two side by side, but yeah, I mean, this is This is by both dimensions. Um, well, not both. It's maybe about the same um, width, but I mean likewise. And yeah, I mean it's got a, a little bit of weight. I guess that sort of bring in weight, I suppose, that people talk about where it doesn't um, doesn't feel, I guess, plasticky and cheap. But I mean, um, it's just yeah. I mean, it's so often I'm just carrying it around like this, but even sometimes doing just doing a this guy. Um, and the fact that I can do that and it fits. I mean, freaking, this was just like a Wii strap that my family happened to have, and I just put the Wii strap on there over the Wii U remote, and just call it a day. Like it just I just throw that on and just carry it like that, and this has been like my my daily driver since I got this in 2023. Occasionally, I'll pull the Canon T4i. Very, very rarely, I will pull out um, the Fuji X-T3. But really, I'm going. This is my go-to because it's just so compact. And one of the big things for me, and I wish there was more of, is it's not just the screen. It's got a little viewfinder. I mean, it's a very simple, basic. There's no information, it's just the thing to like look through. Um, but it does change based upon your, focal length, and like especially on those like sunnier days where the sun is hitting the screen, you can't even see what's on the screen. Like to me, it's a practical thing to have that little viewfinder on there. And admittedly, wow, the more I've used it, the more I am drawn to just shooting with the screen. I still like having that little viewfinder on there. Um, that was one of the big reasons why I got this, one of the main selling points. And a lot of my issues with a lot of those compact cameras that I'm seeing is they can't be bothered to put one on there. And I guess for a lot of people, it doesn't seem like it matters. And again, I get it, I can understand, especially if you're coming from a smartphone. Um, and yeah, I mean, you're used to shooting on a screen. And again, like it's what I end up doing a lot as well, but just the option of having the little viewfinder, I very much appreciate. Um, but yeah, it is really interesting that again I got this in this compact camera uh, in 2023. But at that time, I was really thinking about compact, and now all of a sudden it seems like people are talking about compact. I mean, sort of before that, I mean, it seems like everybody was talking about digicams, which I mean maybe they kind of still are. I did have a friend lend me a digicam and just didn't have a great experience with it. Unfortunately, it seems like my mom must have given away the digicam that she had that again I used back in high school for a class, which seemed like a pretty nice camera. Um, Maybe would have enjoyed using that if I still had it. Um, but yeah, never really followed that digicam trend too closely. Um, and yeah, while I get interested and enticed by people's talk of the compact cameras that I'm seeing. I've already had one, still have one. And while this is not a perfect camera. That should be said about any camera. It's not going to be perfect, but for me, this really gets the job done and has met my needs. Um, so yeah, I mean the trends are gonna come and go, and I mean unless you're like an influencer, I don't see any real reason to be keeping up and following with them. But yeah, please like whatever you can get your hands on in terms of what's available and what you can afford. Um, because stock changes. Um, yeah, I hope you'll get a camera that's going to be a good fit for you. And for you, I mean, I said the compact camera thing is the trend, but maybe for you, you want one of these bigger cameras that has all the dials and has all the features and can change out lenses. Um, but yeah, for me, the compact thing has just been the way that I've been going. And yeah, again, this is not perfect. It's not going to meet all scenarios and situations. The focus is not great, um, and things can get pretty muddy, at longer focal points. Um, but for like an everyday, um, point and shoot, and it does have the nice variability, of the focal length, um, and a little bit of, digital zoom. I can get some landscape stuff, and I can get some a little bit of some nature and some animals. Um, to me, it's often more important to be able to get a shot of something, than to have a perfect shot. And so that's why having you know a zoom, um, not a fixed focal length is gives me that flexibility is really nice for me. Um, but yeah, that's my rambles and my thoughts, on cameras and the trends as of late. But I hope this has been interesting or helpful or encouraging. I feel like there can be a ton of gatekeeping, and elitism within any community. Is certainly the case with photographers. It's all about geared, having the latest and greatest, or some sort of really niche, specific vintage, um, piece that people oogle over. Um, or then again, like shifts and everything. Everyone tries to hunt for that, and the prices just skyrocket. But yeah, just please, take your time, do your research, and find a good camera that's going to be right for you. And again, if it's not a perfect camera, something that's going to be good enough, to be something that you'll be happy with, that you're really just going to enjoy the photography experience. And isn't that really what it's all about, for most of us, unless you're the professional? Just like enjoy the experience, the process of taking a picture. Um, so yeah, with that, that's gonna be all for me. Please stay well and take care. All right, bye.